Come one, come all. It's story time with an alchemist. A long time ago, two monks were journeying through the forest. Master Singfu, once again I want to show you my gratitude that you allowed me to journey with you to our brother monastery. I learned so much from the brothers there, the amount of wisdom that they carry. I want to thank you. Well, Master Li, it is customary within our order to ensure that those going from youth to age garner the knowledge and the wisdom to continue in this life and continue in our order. So they began to continue their journey, and at a point they came to a river that they were familiar with and that they had crossed on their way in. But this time at the river, an elderly woman was standing at the banks, crying and whimpering. Master Li and Master Singfu approached. Master Singfu said, "My dear, why do you cry?" "Oh, Master Singfu, I'm an older woman. I got lost and came to the river at the wrong point. Although I normally cross at an easier point, as the water is too rough for me to cross. And a woman of my age to go and journey back to my point could take a day, and I do not have a day. I must get home so that I may take care of my aging husband." Master Singfu then lifted the woman up on his back and carried her across the water. Master Li followed in disgust. And after they crossed the river, Master Singfu put the elderly woman down. "Oh, thank you, Master Singfu. Thank you. I know that this is a great thing for you, and I greatly appreciate it. Continue your journey. Continue your journeys. Good tidings to your husband." And after the woman departed, Master Li, outraged, "Master Singfu, it is against our order to touch a woman, and you carried her across this river. All the wisdom and all the teachings that we have done, all the vows that we have taken to never touch a woman, and you not only touched the woman, but you embodied her on your back. You allowed her parts to touch your back. You allowed her breasts to rest on your back. You cupped her legs so that you can carry her across your back. You not only touched her, you enveloped her." This is correct. I did. They continued their journey, and ever so often, Master Li, "I am just amazed. I am amazed, Master Singfu. How could you break your vows this way? We study, we meditate, we read the ancient scrolls, and I do not know how to handle such a travesty, such a breaking of your vows. I do not know how to see you." As they continued to travel and travel, "I am just so beside myself, Master Singfu. How could I look up to you? You are one of our grandmasters. You've been with the monastery for so long. How could you have done such a thing?" And as they entered the gates, "Oh, brothers, this has been the worst situation, the worst journey I have ever taken. Master Singfu have betrayed us all by breaking his vows." The other brothers rushing forward. "What has happened?" As we journeyed, Master Singfu saw a woman at the end at the river, and he carried her across the river. An older elderly woman who got lost. He carried her across the river and broke our vows, our solemn vow to never touch a woman. Master Singfu looked at his brothers and looked at Master Li. He said, "This is true. I did carry that woman across the river, but I put her down As soon as we got to the other side of the river, I no longer touched her. I no longer was carrying her. But Master Lee, you are still carrying her. This is an old story. An old story that was told over and over again a long time ago. Although there are many lessons that we can take from the story, one of the primary lessons is that oftentimes we all carry a burden. But when we put our burdens down, when we put down whatever it is that we're carrying, other people have a tendency to continue to carry it not only for us, but to carry it for themselves. And the entire time, whatever blessings they had, whatever greatness they had in their life, whatever they had saw and learned, whatever areas of their life that they were moving towards, they lose themselves. They lose themselves in carrying someone else's burden, in carrying someone else's sin, or carrying someone else's issues, someone else's problems, someone else's challenges, someone else's debilitating mindsets. We carry other people's burdens when we should let them go. You see, Master Sifu, he released the burden of the elderly woman as soon as he crossed. He broke his vow to never touch a woman in order to help a woman. But as soon as the help was completed, he regained himself and regained his vow and stopped carrying her. While Master Lee, who had previously enjoyed the journey, had previously gave gratitude for being a part of the journey, lost all the glory that he originally had and carried this woman not only across the river, but through the valleys, through the woods, all the way home, and then proceeded to give the burden to be carried by the remaining brothers in the monastery. But if it had not been for Master Sifu to remind him that he put that woman down as soon as he crossed the water, he put the burden down as soon as he crossed the water. But Master Lee continued to carry the burden. Now, many of you are carrying burdens that you need to release. Now, I know by the title of this video, many of you have began to listen to me. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers on this at the moment of this video, July 3rd, 2018. Many of the growth, most of the growth that I've experienced over the last year and a half, I've went from 56 subscribers to almost 3,000 subscribers. It's not a whole lot by YouTube standards, but many of you who are here now with me, you're here because I defended Kevin Wesley. You're here because I defend those who are being persecuted by traditional religion. You're here because since I was 9, I began my journey to think for myself and to release the burden of traditional religion, to release the burden of what I was indoctrinated into, and to think for myself. But many of you who have released that burden are still carrying the religion. You're still carrying the burden. Now, I want to go on record right here, right now, and although I had planned an entire video, different video for this statement, for those who are Christian, Muslim, Jew, who are of traditional religion, I never left because the church hurt me. I never left because I wanted to live a sinful life, a lustful life. I never left because someone convinced me otherwise. It is easier for you to carry my burden of leaving by saying that, oh, they must have left because they were hurt and they really don't know God and don't know Christianity, don't know Jesus, don't know Muhammad, don't know Allah, don't know whomever, don't know Yahweh, Jehovah. It is, you are carrying my burden. You are carrying a burden that you believe that I have by saying that I was hurt by a minister, hurt by a choir director, hurt by a mother, an elder, hurt by a deacon, hurt by someone in the church, by a human. You are carrying a burden for me that I have never picked up, actually. But even for those who did leave because the church hurt them, because someone in the church betrayed them, you are still carrying their burden. And for those who have left, you are still carrying the burden of those who come against you. You see, we argue because we carry the burdens of other people. I do not live this lustful life. It's not who I am. Regardless of religion, regardless of anything, I am exactly whom I choose to be. I view sin as doing things that are against my well-being. When I'm not being myself, I'm sinning against myself, because I'm sinning against my spirit. My spirit. Not any other spirit. Mine. When I engage with people who merely want to argue because they're carrying my burden, carrying a burden, because I shouldn't say my burden, they're carrying a burden that I do not carry, that does not hinder me, I am sinning and blaspheming against myself at that moment. Which is why I do not engage in those situations 99% of the time. People want me to continue to berate traditional religions. I do not, my goal and my aim is not to berate them. My goal is only to show true information, as much truth as we have, as new information reveals itself, to be able to free people to think for themselves. Now, if a person chooses not to believe what I believe or acknowledge what I know, that is on them. It is not my burden to carry. If people disagree with aspects of things that I say but agree with other aspects and then say, well, I can't listen to you because I play a zero-sum game, it's an all or none for me, I do not carry their burden, and neither should you. But this is what we do. We carry the burdens of other people when we should be letting those people carry their own burden. And if they choose to put down whatever it is that they were carrying, we should allow them to do so and not continue to remind them. It's like someone who was an alcoholic and then they become sober. 5-10 years go by, but you constantly remind them that they were an alcoholic. It's like a man or a woman whose infidelities have broken up a relationship. 5, 10, 20 years have gone by. They've been faithful and loyal, but you continue to remind them of their infidelity. Someone was poor at money management, but then they did the financial alchemy program with Coach Renz. And now they are financially sound, but you consistently remind them of when they were not. You are trying to load their burden back on them. Who are you to do so? But worse than that, you've taken on their burden and you're carrying it for yourself. So I say to you, release all of your burdens. Let it be left alone on the banks of the river. As a matter of fact, when I practice my spiritual rituals, one of those rituals is to allow things to float down the river. When I'm in meditation and there was negative energies, people's negative thoughts, my own negative thoughts at times try to envelop me, I do not just set them down at the banks of the river, but I may put them in the river and see them float away down the river. I may put them in the hot air balloon and see them float away in the sky. Or better yet, I might just be Thanos and snap my fingers and watch them go into the fluffy. What I would hope that you will pick up from this story, is that it is not your responsibility to carry any burdens yourself, nor is it your responsibility to carry the burdens of other people, nor is it your responsibility to continuously put the burden of someone's past on that person. Let them be free as much as you desire to be free. Because remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.